Well, very nice. This gudgeon pin here, wrist pin, I guess, it moves by hand. I just felt that I could push it with my fingers and give it a little tap. Oh, that was simple. And this one here on this side looks just as loose. Wow, that one slid right out. That's fantastic. Excellent. Well, that was simple. You can see there's some burning there. I don't think there's any bushes, those small ends. Terrific. Here's the oil pressure relief valve taken apart, and it was in a bit of a sorry state, so what I did, I just took it apart, cleaned it up, and went inside the piston bore and also cleaned up the piston itself with some very, very fine emery cloth. So the piston here was actually stuck inside the cylinder, but I put it in my ultrasonic cleaner and blasted that for a few minutes, and it freed it up, and then simply took it out and just kind of rubbed it very carefully on some emery cloth, and then rolled up sort of a tube of emery cloth here and put that inside this piston, and that cleaned up nicely. The copper washers will definitely need to be replaced, and the spring, I'm not sure. I'm probably going to leave the spring and the shims as they are for now, just until I get the bike running again, and then I'll start thinking about what the oil pressure's like, and you know, that will give me a good sense of whether I need to change those shims or that spring. Just loosely fitting it for now. I'm gonna polish this case up as well at some point, and it'll look really nice. Here's a quick overview of the cylinder head and some of the jobs that I'm going to have done, or you know, maybe do myself on the head, but just overall would like to get the head probably vapor blasted I mean, I'll try and clean it up myself to the extent I can, but it might look really cool to get it vapor blasted. And then obviously the next job is new valves, new valve guides, collets, valve seats, etc. This is what it looks like again underneath. I will remove all the valve gear myself first of all, so that'll be one of my next videos, to actually remove those rocker spindles and all the attachments and the tappets, etc. Also a couple of other minor jobs. Just there's a burr there, as if you can see it on the flange. I'll file that off. And here there's one of the fins is damaged. It's pretty solid, but I'm just nervous that it's going to probably break off at some point. And then I'll ask for the threads to be chased in the exhaust nuts. That one's really nice, so it should be fine. The other one, I know it's a little rougher, but I think it should be okay. And I don't know if you can see it very well, but the thread on the inside of that head steady mount, this screw thread here, is pretty badly damaged. If you can make it out just there. What I did try and do was just to chase that thread. I've got a bolt that I borrowed from a friend, and you'll see it's pretty loose to start with. So here, pretty loose, but the further you get, it tightens up quite a bit. And there's a decent thread at the bottom of it, but it does bottom out. So we've got a very good thread there. It may or may not require some kind of helicoil in there at some point, possibly. We'll see, but this is the correct fitting and the correct bolt for that head steady that fits onto the tab on the featherbed frame. And then I think finally, and this may be me just getting a little too fussy, is this stud here seems to be off center. It's a little bent. I'll show you what I mean by that, but basically the inlet valve here, the cap, doesn't fit correctly. Yeah, it's pretty simple. I think it just needs to move over a little bit over to the left. What you'll see here is with the cover here, there's a stud that fits onto, and it fits nicely, but you'll see the position of the studs over to the right. And of course with this having a collar on this retaining nut, as I tighten that up, you'll see it drifts over to the right, you know, especially as this is centralized on there. So, you know, obviously to bring it back into center, in order to get the nut on, this stud needs to move over to the right. So it's not a big deal. I'm just having a bit of a challenge getting this stud out. I've tried to double nut it, but it won't come off, so it's something that I might need to get some help with. And here's another cover. This is the one that came with the bike. And again, you know, trying to line that up. Actually, this one doesn't fit well at all. It's sort of off. There's actually a gap at the bottom where I can feel a lip. So it may not even be original. Anyway, that looks nice like that, but as you can see, again, the stud's offset, so a little bit of work there, but that's it with the head. The next video will be starting to remove these rocker caps and then extracting the spindles.